Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. I'm spiritual medium Kellee White, and welcome to Ask Me Anything. And today is April 27th, 2023. So how have you guys been doing? How are you doing with this energy out there? Because the energy is still, we're in between two eclipses, which we'll talk about. Lots going on. And let me say hi to some people. Hi, Bernadette. I am going to answer that question, Bernadette, about spiritual awakenings. Thank you for that. It's a very good question. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Connie. Hi, Renee. You have a question about being hypnotized. Okay, great. We'll definitely get there. Thank you for that. Which reminds me, I'll probably need to have Bill Cinque back on the show soon too. Hi, Connie. Hi. Hi, AC. Hi, Ellen. If I could pick a card for Prince Harry. Interesting. That's an interesting thought. That's an interesting thought. Hi, Connie. Hi, Karen. Hi, Taryn. So, Taryn, I will answer that question. Okay, you're asking me. So just give me a little bit of time and I will answer that question. So, okay. So, hi, Vicki. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Brianne. Hi, Patricia. Well, hi, everybody. So, I had an interesting week this week. Where, the weather here in Wisconsin is just so strange, right? It's just a strange weather. It's like we have winter for like 6 months. And I'm a girl from Los Angeles. So, it's a little, it's beyond challenging. I'm sick of it by now, frankly, of this weather. But one thing that is coming up is spring. I can tell you that today was 60 degrees. Woohoo! In LA, that's considered snow and freezing. But here, it's considered like spring. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to a couple of things this weekend because spring brings for me, which thing I love, which is I love daffodils. So I love daffodils. I'm always on the hunt for finding daffodils, especially around our farm. Every once in a while, they grow wild here. So I just love to, when it's warm enough to go out and hunt for daffodils, which I think is so fun. And the second thing that I really look forward to is ramp season. So if you are from the Midwest or the East Coast, you've probably heard of wild garlic ramps. They're called ramps. And it's like a 4-week season. Well, when I was in LA, and a little background of me that a lot of you don't know, but I actually was a professional chef. That was my background, is food. I graduated from a culinary school in France, and food has always been like a wonderful thing for me. I just love to explore different things. So one of the things that I always wanted to try when I was in Los Angeles, I'd read about these wild ramps. They could never get them in LA. I don't care where you go in LA, you cannot find them. They're just simply not on the West Coast. I couldn't find them, and I tried for years. But we moved here, and I'm like, oh my God, ramps. It's like 4-week season. And so this weekend, I have some ramps on hold, and I'm like so excited because I so look forward to ramps. So if anybody has any interesting use of ramps, let me know. And for a fun thing too, I'll let you know. The reason I love ramps so much, and I love garlic, and I love all that whole earthiness, is in 1983, going way back in the day, like way back before a lot of you were probably born, I actually won the Gilroy Garlic Festival in Gilroy, California. And I won it for a recipe with the most garlic, and I won first prize. So anyway, I really look forward to spring and garlic ramps. So there you go. Anyway, hi, Karen Sweezy. Thank you. This is a new spring collection in Wisconsin. Hi, Gail. Hi, Elizabeth. It's been a little testy this week. Yes. And let's talk about why it's been a little testy for people. Let's talk about that. Let's just share that. And I really appreciate everybody sending me all the questions. I try to answer as many as I can. And I try, and sometimes obviously I can't get to all of them, but I really appreciate the ones that you guys are sending to me. So let's talk about this testy energy. I mean, first of all, Mars is still out of bounds for about another week. So a lot of odd things happening, a lot of odd things that, I mean, so many different, if you look at the news, so many odd things that are happen in the news every day. You just can't believe it. But we also had that eclipse, and we're between the next eclipse, which is on May 5th. So on Monday's show with James, I'll be talking about the lunar eclipse on May 5th. So we're in between two energies of the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse, which makes the energy freakish almost on some level. It's a very kind of a ramped up, there's that word again, ramp. I had to get that word in, energy. Also, let me see, Jupiter went into Aries on the 22nd. Now, that's an amazing thing that it's going into Aries right now. It is in Aries right now because that will bring us a lot of life expression. We'll be really working on ourselves about how we want to live our life, what's good for us. We'll be working on that with this Jupiter in Aries. But also at the same time as we have this Jupiter in Aries, we also have something also happening at the same time. And that's Jupiter conjuncts Rahu. What does that mean? It's Jupiter is next to Rahu, basically at the same degree, all the way through November. Now, Rahu is a malefic planet in Vedic astrology, and I'm talking Vedic astrology. It's malefic. It causes trouble. It breaks down barriers for us and moves us forward, but often it causes a lot of agitation. And this stays conjunct Rahu through November, all the way through November. I thought it was through October, but it's actually through November. That's so we're talking about months of this conjunction that will, again, open up doors that you didn't know, just like the eclipses, but it will bring challenges for everybody. It'll bring challenges. What kind of challenges? Maybe where you have to stand up for yourself. Maybe you have to pick the road less traveled. Maybe you decide to let go of certain people in your life. That's what this is. It shakes us up between the eclipse and the conjunction with Rahu and Jupiter and the two eclipses, let alone Mercury retrograde. This time period is designed to shake us up, to move us forward, and do the things that we came to do in this lifetime. And all of us have come to do different things in this lifetime. So in addition to all of this, because it's just simply not enough, we have the Mercury retrograde. Now, you've always heard everybody talks about Mercury retrograde. And I heard the funniest TikTok somebody sent me, and it was so funny. They called Mercury retrograde a bitch ass punk. That just cracked me up. And I think of Mercury retrograde now, I'm gonna think bitch ass punk. Anyway, so this Mercury retrograde is also unique because first of all, it's in this Mercury retrograde is in Aries. And also Mars is in Gemini. So Mars in Gemini, Mercury in Aries, that's what's called Parvati Yoga. And that's because Mars is in Gemini and it's ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. So they're sitting, it's called an exchange of houses. That means that the impact of this period until May 10th, it makes it intense. It's got a lot of that Mars energy, and Mars with Mercury energy is intense. So please watch your communications, whether you send an email, whether, let's say things break down, you don't have to, blow up, watch blowing up, okay? Because this is really a time to watch your anger, because when this particular time period, there could be some really extremes in weather, and we already are noticing that now. Floods are going to be coming, and it could bring a lot of shocking, as we've said before, shocking kind of cultural things, like, for instance, what the two guys getting fired, the guy from Fox and CNN. I mean, these kind of things are coming up. Who died today? Jerry Springer died today. I have no idea how, and he wasn't that old. He was only 79. So I don't know what happened there, but he was an interesting guy, an interesting time. But anyway, so this is a great time to look at your life because of this Mercury retrograde, and what do you need in your life? And you don't have to make any decisions in the next couple of weeks because Mercury is still retrograde. But it is, I mean, in other words, you can make some decisions, but you don't have to take action yet. But it is a great time to really reevaluate. Anytime Mercury is retrograde, you reevaluate, readdress, reconsider, reassess. So you want to look at your life and what is it that you need to work on, maybe, to move forward? What would make you happy? What is it are you able to let go of now to move forward? These are the kind of things that you should be thinking of during this period of time. And it's an important period of time. And we'll talk about May astrology on Monday's show. And by the way, on Monday's show, we have a woman that's going to be extraordinary and as a guest, and she is going to be talking about many things, like many fascinating things. But one of them is Qigong. She specializes in Qigong, which is really interesting too. So let me answer a few of these questions I did want to answer. And Bernadette Desir, you asked a good question. You said, thanks for all you do. And you're February 26th, which is a Queen of Clubs. So I know Queen of Clubs are always in their head, and they're usually healers, and they are, what they know. They're extremely psychic. So Grit's a really good question. She said, why are spiritual awakenings why are they so painful? I don't recognize who I am slowly becoming, and my flesh and my ego is not surrendering at all. Sometimes it leaves me exhausted. Oh, you pretty much said that really well, Bernadette. That's pretty much what happens when there's a spiritual awakening. So a spiritual awakening is, and it can happen suddenly. It happened to me when I had a brain injury, a traumatic brain injury in the year 2000. And all of a sudden, for me, I had a clear understanding of what life, the spiritual side of life, how do I say this right? That the mundane world was simply the mundane world, but the spiritual world was something completely different. And I knew that, I've always known that the souls continue. There's no such thing as death. I always knew that. But to actually have experiences of it and to slow down and to see the meaning of life, to have a spiritual awakening is often when your Kundalini energy kind of opens up, and that's your vital life force opens up like that. And when it's up, it can cause a lot of havoc because it's fighting with your ego. In my case, it was, but I want my old life back. And guess what? That was not going to happen. There was not even a door to go back. It was gone. It was as if I just couldn't believe it. It's just gone. So your ego fights with it, and it can be very painful because often it's isolating. Often you're alone. So it's a really great time to really go inward, meditate, start to let go of things that are not important anymore. And so it's the beginning of a spiritual journey, and it's the journey to be on. It's the journey. So, bravo. And thank you for asking that question. I appreciate it. Renee Hounsel. Hi, Renee. Beautiful blessings, Kelly. Thank you. A question about being hypnotized. Okay. Many have used hypnosis to help to work through addiction and trauma. Does hypnotic suggestion affect the energy centers of chakras? I think it does. If it, our soul knows what's right and how to maneuver things. So if the hypnotic suggestion is the most positive one, it's what I'm going to assume that, right? I'm going to assume that it would definitely begin to help you work on the energy centers and the chakras. So it is very helpful, can be very helpful for addiction and for trauma. It can be, yeah. It's certainly a technique, right? So thanks for answering that. I hope I answered that question right. Karen Sweetie. Hi, Kelly. Hope your Thursday went well. My Thursday is going great, and it actually was great today. Been hectic with everything, and now handling my mom with dementia. learning patience. That's a big one, Karen. A mini reading, yes, 817. So let's talk about that. So you're a 9 of clubs, honey. You're designed to help with this situation. 9 of clubs comes to complete a soul cycle, and they're very intuitive. They're here to help family and to help others. So it sounds like you're going to be learning a lot from this, Karen. Learning patience is a huge one. Try to get as much rest as you can, and maybe support from others, because that's a big one. I work a lot with that, with people that are going through this one. So make sure you take care of yourself, okay? But yeah, you're designed to handle this one, okay? You just are. Now let me ask some other. I've got some questions here. Let me find the right question here. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is a question from Lori Lee. She said, "Hello, Kellee. Yesterday, so I had a session with her yesterday. She said I was reading a page out of a book, and she wants to know the name of the book. So here's the book. Okay, everybody. If everybody should get this book, it's just extraordinary. It's called A Quiet Mind, Sayings of White Eagle. I love this book. You can just choose at any page, whatever comes to you. Every morning, what I do is after I meditate, before I am sitting down, to see anybody, I hear a page, I turn to the page, and that's what gets me really settled. Because people always ask me, like, how do you do your work, like one after another? Well, number one, I always have a break in between people, like at least 30 minutes in between people. So it's enough for me to either go outside, get some hot tea, change the energy up. I do a lot. I will read spiritual passages, anything like that. And also people have asked what kind of sessions I have, and sometimes they don't know what kind of sessions to choose from. And off the top of my head, of course, I do mediumship, and would be like straight mediumship with your loved one. Another session would be a mediumship combo. So that's often when I'm working as a medium, and also we'll look at your chart to talk to you about what's going on in your life. Let's get here, what's going on. So it's a lot of people will choose that one. I also do spiritual counseling, because let's say you really don't know, but you've got a situation and you want to go over it. I'll look at your chart, we'll go over it, and spiritual counseling. And sometimes during that, a loved one will come through with a message too. It all depends on what it is. I do group sessions for people. And I know I'm leaving other ones out. I also, if you're a psychologist or a sociologist or anybody who's a psychotherapist or anybody in that, I have a special rate to work with people. Sometimes I help them in the field of helping them as they're becoming mediums, or I help them with whatever situation they're in. Because as a therapist, I'm also a therapist, but the only counseling I do, but it all comes through anyway, is the spiritual counseling. But it affects every direction. So let me just say that. So anyway, in case anybody, I've got some openings in May here. So this was a good question. Linda Reynolds asked this question. Linda, I love this question. She said, "Hi, Kellee, I'd love a mini reading." So your birthday is on August 5th. And you're wondering if there's a significance to having the same birth date with a different year as a sibling. So many times I have seen this. And yes, it's very significant. So you are, your birthday is August 5th. You are an 8 of diamonds, as I believe. Yeah, 8 of diamonds. And so to have a sibling that also is an 8 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds have huge smiles. You can see them when they walk in. They call it the sun card. There's like all this light that comes through them. And 8 of diamonds can work on different things. So, however, if you have 2 siblings that have this particular birthday, they come in to work on the same issues. And in this case, in your case, it would be understanding power and using it wisely, and using power for helping others. It's about power. Because 8s are all about power, and 8 of diamonds is about what we value. So that's kind of a simple way to say that. And here's another question for an 8 of diamonds. And this is from Tammy Berkebile. She said, "I'd like a mini reading." So your birthday is 5/11. So May 11th, also 8 of diamonds. So power would be really important here. And she said, what book would I recommend for learning Vedic astrology? This is a very simple one. It's Vedic astrology, easy and simple. I would recommend this book probably right away. Vedic astrology made simple. There you go. I would recommend that one. It's a good one. And she said, what sign would I be in Vedic? So you're Taurus in Western astrology. So you would be an Aries in Vedic astrology. So here's the thing. Let's say you've always only used the lens of Western astrology. I get it. I totally get it. But I'm asking you now to look at another lens. So life is full of lots of lenses. Like you'll notice I'll say the destiny card, like sometimes because it's just a quicker way for me to get to the heart of somebody. That's why I often just use the destiny. But in Vedic astrology, it's where the true placement of the planets are where you were when you were born, and the true placements are where they are now. So in Vedic astrology, you're in Aries, and Aries in Vedic astrology, if you were born between April 14th and May 14th, so April 14th to May 14th, you're in Aries. I know a lot of you are thinking you're Taurus, but I'm asking you just view the lens from a Vedic perspective. You might go, whoa, you know what? That kind of fits. And a Taurus in Vedic astrology is May 15th to June 15th. You might be thinking, no, I'm a Gemini. I don't think so. Maybe, in Vedic astrology, you're not. So I had to do that. Okay, Heidi Burton. She said May 1st is your birthday. So your birthday is literally right between those two eclipses. 5 of Spades. 5 of Spades is the natural healer. 5 of Spades is a natural healer. And it says, will I learn to have a two-way conversation with my son and spirit? Absolutely, honey. So a two-way conversation with your son and spirit. It's very, I know you want him right there and he's talking to you and you're hearing him. And so as a medium, for me, it doesn't work that way. I don't really know any medium or any person that it works that way, but we get as much as we can. Now, he's always around you. And so you absolutely talk to him all the time. And he'll be answering in the ways that he can. You might feel a breeze go by, just so you know he's there. You might hear something. No, don't negate it. Don't think, oh, this is just me. Don't think that way. Think, wait a minute, and open up your heart, because our loved ones, if you're thinking of them, they are there. So have a real conversation with them. It's different. It looks different, right? Because physically they're not present. So go into deep meditation with it. Let me get you a card, honey. And this is from Talking to Heaven. This is from Talking to Heaven. So let me get you a card. And he's, as I just said, there is no such thing as death, Mom. I am right here with you. So just begin having conversations with him. I've had people say to me, but aren't they sick of me talking? I talk all the time. I'm like, no, not at all. Just keep going. Keep going. It's really good. You should see me. I walk around the house all the time. And Don, I do this, and Don will tell you. He's like, who are you talking to? My mom. Yeah, that's who. If you need to know, I'm talking to my mom. That's right. And it's important. So, and I wanted to get a card here. Let me get a card for Vicky. I'm going to get you a card, honey, from your beloved here. And this is from Talking to Heaven. Oh my gosh, I love this, Vicky. I always give you a good night kiss. I always give you a good night kiss. Look at those clouds, Vicky. And this at a heart. I'll be darned. I love working with your husband. He is a doll. He is just a doll here. Okay, Taryn Steinmetz. But Kellee, hi, Kellee. I wrote you on Instagram, but figured I'd also put it in the chat. Okay, great. So what happens is my assistant, Carissa, she gathers all the questions up for me, because a lot of times I work so much that I don't have time to look at everything, but she'll gather them for me, and I do the best I can to see everything that I can see. I also put it in the chat. Over the last few weeks, I've been getting signs. Bravo. First, it was a feather. Then it was a Queen of Clubs that literally fell in front of me. Great. And then I saw an 888 on a license plate. Can you tell me what my guides are trying to tell me? So 888 is the circle of life. 888 is it is a powerful time. When you see all those eights, I would say pay attention to a change, because eights bring power to whatever situation we're in. So, and this is a good thing. And whenever you see feathers are often are always from our loved ones. And a queen of clubs, I'm not sure if that's your birthday, if you're a queen of clubs, but queen of clubs is wildly intuitive. I'd say pay attention to your intuition, because you'll start to have, a spiritual awakening. I mean, these signs, 111 and 222 and 444, they all mean something. I think that we were programmed before we came in to pay attention to them, because they wake us up. Oh, there's a spiritual world. Oh, it's not just the mundane world. And when I say the mundane world, I'm talking about, just third chakra down, money, power, our job, our career. There's a whole spiritual world here as well. It's not just that. Oh, and you're September 18th, 6 of clubs. So 6 of clubs is somebody that comes to speak their truth. So I suspect that and you'd be very intuitive. And I suspect that you're working on your, on spirituality right now and having a belief in that. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Kelly from Georgia. Hi there. So anyway, so let me ask Renee, go ahead and put any questions up too. Oh, let me answer this question. Okay. So this is from Amy Brown. She said, hi, Kelly. I just finished the Psychic Intuitive class at JVP Mystical Arts. Bravo. Isn't that a great class? It has helped me fine tune my gifts for so much. I bet it has. She said, Amy further says, I read tarot cards intuitively. Great. My question is, I have been a hairstylist for 30 years. Wow. So most of my clients have been with me for 20 years plus. Very few of my clients know of my gifts. How do I go about telling my clients? I fear rejection and acceptance from them, and I don't want to lose them. I would like to offer readings in my salon, and your birthday is 12/13. Thank you. So let me just say, I have lots to say about this, Amy. First of all hairdressers, if they're good, they're wildly intuitive, because you're working with people's crown chakra. So you're going to feel everything. You're going to know everything. And they're going to know if they're good and wildly intuitive. They're going to know exactly how you are. They're going to read the room. I mean, this is what I expect of people that are that I work with, and they're amazing. So I think it's a natural for you to be doing readings, as doing hair and doing readings. Have you ever heard of Gordon Smith? So Gordon Smith is called the Psychic Barber. And in fact, James is going to be traveling with Gordon in, like, I don't know if they have their schedule yet. Maybe they do. I don't think it's been posted, but like in Europe, like in, I don't know, October, I think he said, September, October. But he's a wonderful medium. You might want to look him up. They call him the Psychic Barber because he was doing he was doing hair for people. And all of a sudden he starts seeing things, And of course, he's now one of the most renowned mediums in the world. It's an incredible medium. So how do you do it with, hold on a second. I'm going to answer that in just a second, Renee. How do you do this with having the fear and the, fear rejection? Here's the thing, honey. You are a 5 of clubs. 5 of clubs is here for freedom. 5 of clubs, all clubs are intuitive. All clubs are psychic and intuitive. I'm just going to say it like that. Some more than others because we've worked on it more. But if you've been doing hair for 30 years, you're going to know the people that are going to give you a hard time. Okay, so you lose them. Guess what? You'll have 10 more for everyone you lose. And the reason is because everybody's going to be like, oh, can you read my cards? Yeah, come in for a haircut. I can read your cards. Yeah, you'll be beyond Amy booked. Beyond. I would say go for it. That's exactly what I would say. Because I had to really, James literally, I'm not kidding you. He literally was like, oh no, Kelly, go. Because, I was a medium first, and then I went to grad school. And then I had to like tell some people and not tell people and all that bullshit. And I was like, oh, forget it. Now I don't care. And that took me years to get there. Don't let it take you that long. 30 years as a hairstylist. Guess what? You've learned a lot of things here. Go for it. Amy, I want to hear all about it. I'm so excited for you, Amy. Really, I'm happy for your people. And the ones that, whatever, okay, they still probably want to come because you're probably a great hairstylist. It's hard to find a good hairstylist. So there you go. That's my answer for that one. All right, Renee, would you put that other question up? Lori Delanava Sherbrooke. Why between Vedic astrology compared to Western astrology are the signs so different? I'll tell you why. They go back a degree for like the last 2,000 years, I think it is. They go back a degree and it puts everything back where the real sun is, the real moon was, the real everything was, where all the planets really were, and it goes back. So they are Western astrology is fixated and stuck. It's exactly for that way it was 2,000 years ago. No, things have changed. So the planets actually have evolved. And so that's kind of a quick way of saying it. I feel that Vedic astrology is extremely accurate. I do. I love it for the predictive part of it. And I've never practiced Western astrology. Honestly, for me, I love Vedic astrology. I love the principles behind it, the Vedas behind it, the information behind it. I'm a true Virgo. So I love knowledge. I love it. And I'm a 4 of clubs. So I really love a lot of knowledge. So anyway, that's why I practice Vedic. My heart just goes there. It just does. It makes way more sense to me. So I hope that answers, but they're different. They're very different. So you want to check. Oh yes, let me get this book. It's called Vedic Astrology, Easy and Simple by Anatoly Malakov, Malakov. I'm going to put it up like this. Can you see it? Vedic Astrology, Easy and Simple. And you can get this on Amazon. And it's simple because this fellow is a very good explainer. He just kind of goes through easy things, So Dee Dee, hi Kelly, it's my dad's birthday today. He's 72. Well, let's get him. How about a soul's journey? Let's get him a soul's journey from James's cards. Here we go. And he's 72 today. So today that makes him a 7 of clubs because today, April 27th, is a 7 of clubs. 7 of clubs comes to learn spirituality and, my favorite, get rid of all negativity. So all 7s come in kind of with negative situations. So let's get him a card. Purpose. I know what I'm here to do. Well, that's great. His purpose is to have a spiritual path, actually. Now, there was a question I wanted to read. So let me just get to this question. It was a good one. Somebody asked me, and it was in, here it goes. Wait a minute. Okay, so this is from Judy Loveland. Judy, thank you for this question. It's a good question. She said, so she's talking about when she was born, she was breech. So breech is when the baby turns like this, right before birth. And the physician, so her mom's in labor and the doctor took her by cesarean and she said, she cut my arm and ribs. He said that would shrink. However, the scars have grown with me. I was taken out on 10/31. Does this alter things? Thank you very much. Love your guidance and compassion. So thank you. No, the soul, before we come in, I know this is we got to look at this from a soul's point. So not the human condition here. We're looking at it from the soul's place here. The soul comes in knowing that at that time when that's going to happen, and the reason is it's going to set you up for life to learn what you came in to do. So there was no mistake on that. I'm sorry that it's a painful, it must have been really challenging. I understand that. But from a soul's point of view, it would have set you up. You are a 4 of hearts. 4 of hearts is all about understanding emotions and love and compassion. And it has a lot to do with helping others, as a 4 of hearts is learning all about emotions themselves. So this situation would have set you up. So you would have had to really have your situations and then dealt with what they would have brought up emotionally for you. Okay, which I suspect is what you're going through now, which is exactly what happens with a 4 of hearts. Okay, 4 of hearts is not an easy one, but it's all about emotions and compassion for you and for others. Okay, so I hope that helps. This is from Charlene Miller. She said, Kelly, I enjoy comedy sitcoms. I get a kick out of Ghosts. That is a cute show. The character Hetty is my favorite. She cracks me up. Which brings me to the question I have. Do spirits that don't know each other here on Earth mingle and hang out together and form friendships? Yes, they do. Of course, because we all don't come here together. First of all, we have lots of friends and family and people we've known in lifetimes and lifetimes. They just didn't make this journey with us, you know. I always think this, that when we head here, like down here, when we come to this dimension, I swear, I think they're so sad on that side. I think they're just like, oh God, you know, as they know. And then when likewise, when we go back home to that side, they're like, oh my gosh, you know, like a big parade for you to come back. So yes, so the question, so yes, we meet all kinds of people on the other side that we know from either other lifetimes, other galaxies, parties. They have parties over there. I've actually seen parties where I'm not allowed to go in. I find myself like in the dream states. I'll be over there, right? And I'm like astral, I don't, not even astral traveling. I'm just there with looking for looking for my loved ones that have passed on. Actually, I'm like a snoop, and I've actually been. They literally, I've parties going on and all kinds of things, and I'm like, hey, can I sneak my eyes in, you know, to see? No, no, I cannot, and I get shooed out of there so fast. It's a drag. So I know lots goes on over there. Oh my gosh, you know, it's a celebration on that side. You know, it just is. Rosemary Curtis, how is the personal card like an 8 of diamonds identified? So your birthday is September 16th. So September 8th, I'm sorry, September 3rd is an 8 of diamonds. So you are not an 8 of diamonds. It would, if your birthday was September 3rd, that's how I would identify it. I mean, that's just one aspect. There are a lot of other dates, but your birthday is September 16th. So September 16th is an 8. It's an 8 of clubs. So 8 of clubs is wildly intuitive. I mean, so intuitive. Usually, often they're writers. Make good therapists. They've had, you know, not easy lives. Believe me, nobody that comes here has an easy life. They just don't. 8 of clubs often has a lot of traumas they have to deal with early on. And often they're responsible for mother, father, siblings, something like that, because they have a lot of power. 8 of clubs has a lot of power and a lot of intuition and a lot of knowledge. So I hope that explains a lot. And 8 of clubs that was born on September 16th would mean psychic ability. Okay, so I'm assuming that you do something with psychic ability. I would have to assume that mediumship or psychic ability. Don DeGroat, what does that mean? I'm a Pisces, April 3rd. Afraid so, dear, as they say. Yeah, so if your birthday is April 3rd, in Western astrology, you would be thinking that you are an Aries. But in actuality, April 3rd would in Vedic astrology is a Pisces. Yes. So Pisces for Vedic astrology is March 15th to April 13th. Okay. And Aries in the tropical date is March 22nd to April 20th. That's in tropical Western. So again, I don't do that, but yeah. So if you start looking at yourself, you know, you can go online and you can do they have lots of free Vedic chart calculators. And then you put your information in and your birth time, and you put your place where you were born, and then it'll come up immediately. Your rising is this, your sun is this, your moon is this, and it goes right into everything. So, and it'll tell you all of that, and you're going to go, what? How could that be? My whole life. What I'm asking everybody to do is just use a different lens. Many people have said to me, oh my God, I never did feel like this before. This makes more sense. And if it doesn't make sense for you, stick with the Western. As my dear friend Charlene said to me, listen, we live in the West, so, you know, I go by Western. But even she's going more towards Vedic now. I just feel the Vedic is more heart-centered for me. Kathy Zudniak. Hi, Kathy. Makes sense because I'm 521. I've always felt more Taurus, right? So that would make sense for you. Yeah, thank you for saying that. My Scorpio planet is in the 7th house. What is my Vedic placement? You know, I don't know, Connie. I'm not doing that in my head right now. I'd have to figure that out, but it's something I could think about. I just can't do it at this moment. But thank you for that, because things change with that. when we talk about houses and all that, things start to change. So I just can't go like that with that one. As much as I'd like to. Arlene Sue. Hi, Kellee. My daughter's watching for the first time. Could she have a mini reading, please? Hi, Arlene. Absolutely. So her birthday is June 17th. So June 17th is a king of clubs. So king of clubs, and she's a female. So she has a male brain. So she thinks like a male. She could probably outthink everybody. The other thing she could do is out psychic anybody, because her psychic ability and intuition would be enormous. And the reason it is because King of Clubs pulls from information psychically from previous lives. They come in and they go, how do you know that? I don't know. I just know it. Poosh, goes right in and right out. If a King of Clubs or a Queen of Clubs says this, or this, they're going to be right. You almost can't argue with them because they're going to be right. That's just how they are. LS Summers, grateful to catch you live. Great. 818. I would appreciate a mini reading. Recently, when I call my higher self soul, I get a hitch in my throat of pure excitement. Do souls communicate with sensations? Oh, they certainly can. How exciting is that? So I'm thrilled because you're paying attention to that, right? So you get something goes on. So for me, I get like tingles everywhere, chills everywhere, or that, and then I know. Then I really know. So, but yes, they absolutely, sensations absolutely could be, absolutely, especially souls that pass love it when we can feel joy when they're around. If we can, now listen, there are many of us that are many people that I work with that are going through huge grief. They also are right there in times of great grief. They do not leave our sides. Okay, please know that. But also when there's that joy around, they also are like, ooh, they love that. They love that. So 818, let me get to that. 818. So 818, again, interesting day today. 8 of clubs. So 8 of clubs is somebody that wildly intuitive. That's another huge intuitive 8 of clubs. They often, I know many that I have known have been writers, directors, because they have a bossiness. And they have a bossiness because of because 8s have power, but they know what they know. But they also are great therapists and writers and healers and psychics and mediums. Yeah, 8 of clubs are amazing. They're the whole thing. They do really well. So thank you. I hope that answers your question. Oh wait, I have to answer this. Hold that question. Riley Johnson. Hi, Kellee. What are the deck of cards you always talk about? What do they mean? I talk about the destiny cards. And so the destiny cards, let me see. I think it was Robert Camp that brought them out years and years and years and years ago, but they were originally done with a woman named, well, even before her, what was it? I forget his name. It was like a man. It was like Orville. He had an oddball name. And I can't remember the name of his name. That was like 150 years ago. But then Florence Campbell came out with her description of each birth placement. And I find it very accurate if I'm in a quick way to give a reading, or if I have to get to the heart of the soul real quickly. When I first had my traumatic brain injury and I started seeing dead people, for lack of a better word. And I was always on the other side. I was looking at the Akashic records. I was always there. And anyway, I got thrown out. I get thrown out of the other side a lot, because I'm supposed to be here. How dare they? They throw me out a lot. But anyway, at one point they said to me, look, I know that you are, always trying to, get this information, but we're going to make it simple for you. And I swear to God, the next day I get this book, Destiny cards book. And I'm like, you got to be kidding. And it was so accurate. And it was channeled years ago, like thousands of years ago. So anyway, so that's what I use for it. And so you are a 7 of clubs. So 7 of clubs is spiritual. All 7s come to learn something spiritual. 7 of clubs, and all 7s have to release negativity. Oh my God, they have to. So you have to take a spiritual path, which is, often I find 7 of clubs really interested in yoga, helping the world, spirituality. They have to watch people around them or them for drugs and alcohol. because sometimes 7 of clubs can be taken down with that pretty quickly. So you always have to walk a fine line. I hope that helps. Hi, Lisa Zapp from Brisbane. Hi there. And you know what? Somebody asked me, I think it was Arlene asked me if I would do readings, like the time difference in Australia, if I could do readings. The only readings that I have set up are Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays currently, because I write on the other days and I do a lot of, and I teach, but Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. So I don't know the time difference between here and Australia, if you can catch me on an early end, but my latest one is sometimes I can go take a 4 o'clock Central Time one, if that would help. So anyway, so if anybody did want a reading in Australia, I'll see if I can work it out. If you could send me an email from my website. Okay. So I know I get asked that a lot. Hi, Susan Forbes. Great questions. They are good questions, aren't they? Thank you sharing your gifts so lovingly and generously. You're so welcome. Life-changing soul food. I swear, that's what I'm trying. Texas-sized hugs. I would say large hugs. I'm going to be going to Texas. I'm so excited to see my daughter and my baby grandchildren for Mother's Day. So I'm really excited about that. I love Texas, actually. Go figure. I really do. Sparkles, precious soul. Thank you. So 12-9, you are a 9 of clubs. So 9 of clubs, again, comes to complete a soul cycle. If you hear me say 9 of anything, then it's always about a completion. 9 of clubs has an interesting thing. They come in because they have a soulmate here. They call them the sexy 9 of clubs, and that's for a reason. They usually always have that spark of that special person in their life. There's like a spark there with that. They also have an unusual thing about loving kind of interesting stories, like, I don't know, some odd stories like about mafia or anything odd that kind of gravitate to knowledge. So I hope that helps you. There you go. Anything odd. Oh, Brianna, I wanted to answer this. This is January 29th. And this is Brianne Majala. I'm sorry, I'm not so good with names right now. January 29th, trying to figure things out with love and career. But right now, I'm wanting to know if I should keep writing or taking a different career path. So January 29th is a Jack of Clubs. Jack of Clubs can do many things. Writing is one of the main things that they do. Being a therapist is another big thing. Being a healer is another big thing. But writing is natural for a Jack of Clubs. So I understand that you would, and also for love, you always have to pick somebody, Brianne, as a Jack of Clubs. That is, you have to do a lot of work on yourself. Is this person compassionate? Is this person, authentic? You have to really look, because sometimes Jack of Clubs and all Jacks can get fooled. So you want to really, and they can fool others. So you have to be really honest with who you're with. Okay. I hope that helps. But you know what? Writing is a really good thing, actually. So I hope that helps a lot. Trey Ramps, right? I know. I love her. Hi, Rita. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. England Young. Hi, England. Kellee, when looking at my birthday card, I noticed that my card and my younger brother's card are the same. I'll be darned. Is this significant? So that's exactly what I answered early on. And the answer is yes. So you are September 6th. The difference would be, then I would bring in the astrology of it. So you are both you're September 6th. So September 6th is a 5 of diamonds, and he's 318, which is a 5 of diamonds. So here's the difference. So you're both working on self-esteem. 5 of diamonds is about self-esteem. Also, 5 of diamonds always is blessed with angels. And you ask your brother, I mean, I'm telling you, angels are abound. They're unbelievable. They're always around 5 of diamonds. So both of you would have come in with lots of angels. Now we take that you are September. I know you think you're a Virgo. I'm going to go into Vedic astrology now. You're a Leo. So you'd be a Leo. The way I would do this chart, a Leo 5 of diamonds, which means you'd have the power, you'd have a strong ego, but then there would be that self-worth piece that you'll just have to work through, honey. You just have to work through that. And then your brother would be a true Pisces, on 318. So he'd be a little more sensitive. But the two of you get along really well, I would think, really well. So I hope that helps. Okay. Lynn Selke, hi. Can you have traits from both your Vedic sign and your Western astrology sign? Absolutely, you can. My birthday is 2/24. So you are 2/24, 1957. I have to say, I love it because I'm also, 1957. So hold on a second. So, and you are February 24th. So February 24th is in Aquarius in Vedic astrology. So in Vedic astrology, Aquarius is February 13th to March 14th. And that is in Vedic astrology, you'd be in Aquarius. Okay. And I know that in Western astrology, you would be considered, a Pisces, but in actuality, you would be an Aquarius. So I hope that helps you a little bit. Okay. And yes, you can use, it's confusing and there's a lot of just purists. I'm literally pretty much leaning only to be purist with Vedic. It gets too confusing when you try to do this or that, but I know people that do it. As I get older, I don't know. I just don't have time for it. Okay, Cindy Davino. But Kellee, what about the part of us that remains in heaven and doesn't come to this planet? Absolutely, our higher self. There's only like this much of us here. Like, what did we say? 30%, 25%? It's not much of our soul. The rest of us is on the other side. Are we interacting with our loved ones on the other side while the larger part of us is here on this planet? So actually, the larger part of us is on that side. The smaller part of us is here. And yes, absolutely. I've actually said this to people that have had when they lose their loved ones. Absolutely, the bigger part of them is with them on the other side. So please know that they're with them on the other side. Here, the ego takes over, and we go into a spinning place of pain and suffering here. So because of that, we forget that we are a spiritual being having a human experience. But the larger part of us remains on that, and I really appreciate that, Cindy, that you. Just to help remind people of that, who we've all had loss here. And I know some of you say to me, I can't remember my dreams. I know that. But we all dream every night. We're always on the other side the other night. Why you can't remember, it just happens. Sometimes, you wake up and you have a fleeting second and then you forget. I always tell myself to remember, and I've kept a dream journal for years and years and years. So I try to remember. And then sometimes I'll get moments of the day where I'll go, oh yeah, remember that? Oh yeah. So, it's for a reason. I think we're supposed to really be present here on earth. And that's why we drink from this, before we incarnate, we drink from this like forgetfulness thing, which I believe actually very much. And we forget everything when we get here. Carolyn Stewart. Hi, Kellee. Nice to see you again. Thank you. Love, love, love listening to you. Thank you. My birthday is July 19th. Okay. July 19. Oh my God. I'm on a roll right now. 9 of clubs. Oh my God. So another 9 of clubs. So that means I've had so many 9 of clubs today. 9 of clubs are really trying to complete their soul cycle here. So, and you're a July. So you actually are a Cancer 9 of clubs here. Cancer 9 of clubs. And a Cancer 9 of clubs is with somebody with a big heart, a huge heart, and caretaking. I often will see a Cancer 9 of clubs in some sort of healing profession. Now, sometimes I see them in doing business. I've seen a lot of real estate people that do this, believe it or not, too. But and I have also seen people work with feng shui with it. Always for a 9 of clubs, they have the second career that happens a little later in life, like 50 plus, 60 plus. All of a sudden they go whoosh, into a complete other direction, and it's always a spiritual place. So I hope that helps for everybody. Here we go. So let's see. Where else can I have a card? Oh, Susan Galmaski. What if we don't know the time we were born? Well, if you don't know the time you were born, I think they say to put noon, but I can't remember exactly what we put on that. But don't worry about that. Just, you know what? Let me think about that, Susan. There is something you're supposed to do, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head right now. Okay, let me think about that, Susan, and I'll have an answer. I will have an answer for you. Vivian Lessard. Do we have a job or purpose on the other side? Yes, we do. So we continue to, thanks for that good question, Vivian. I appreciate that. Yes, we're constantly growing and growing. This is one aspect of our soul here on earth at this particular time, growing and growing and growing. Well, let's hope. Let's hope for that, the best here. On the other side, we definitely have a job. If we want, I mean, like, because we want to keep ascending and growing, because there are many layers or many what's the right word? Many dimensions. Okay. So we want to keep growing and growing and growing. So I know on the other side, I actually saw what my job was, and not unlike what I do now, not readings for people on the other side, but it was literally when I would help people when they would cross over, to send them to where they needed help. Because often when people pass, not often, but sometimes when people pass, there's some trauma, or they die with trauma, or they whatever. And so my job on the other side was to help send them to the right place for healing. Go here, da 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 da. Kind of like what I do now, but I think I have another job when I come back on that side. So I think I've graduated. But anyway, yeah, we do have things. So because we always want to grow. Hi, Trey. I'm a 7/14, but I'm a Cancer, even though I'm Gemini, which I don't identify or feel like. So okay, so hold on a second. So 7/14, you are 7/14, and 7/14, July 14th, is in Vedic astrology. You're right. It is right there. It's a Gemini in Vedic astrology. Yeah. But if you don't identify with it, that's fine too. If you identify with, but here's the thing. Here's what I would do. I would get your Vedic chart done and see if there is Cancer, maybe a Cancer moon, or maybe Cancer rising, or something like that, because you would be more sensitive. So I just play around with it. I understand what you're saying is your sun, and that's all we're talking about. In Vedic astrology, the sun's important, but the moon is the most important aspect. The moon and the rising are really, really probably more significators than the sun even. Although the sun's important, don't get me wrong. So anyway, it's just fun to kind of look on this. Carolyn Stewart, thank you. You were right on with my career. I have been a caregiver for years, working with disabled seniors, which I love with all my heart, and interesting enough. I also did real estate for a short time. Yeah, I think I know my stuff. Thank you for that. I appreciate that very much. So everybody, join James and me on Monday night. We have an incredible guest, and we're going to be talking. When you hear her story, where her husband had passed, and she worked him, as Renee was briefly sharing this with me, through the Tibetan Book of the Dead when he was passing over. So she's got stories galore. Plus, she specializes in, she's a musician, but she also specializes in Qigong, which is really that great energy. So it's going to be really fun. So Elizabeth Preston, let's go look for some ramps. Okay. I know you'll be with your horses this weekend. She lives close to me. So anyway, everybody have a great week. And, Mark, let me just answer this. Mark, your biopsy is May 5th, which is the day of the eclipse. So it'll be a powerful day, Mark. It'll be a really powerful day. Okay. Your mom will be with you, honey. It'll be a powerful day for you. A lot of change. Okay. Yeah, it's a good day for that. You go. Okay, everybody. I'll see everybody Monday. Take care.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.